On a video I made. I was talking to my son the other day. He brought it up. He said it might be a good topic for Uncle Ron and stuff. And I thought about it. I think it is a good topic, but I don't have any preconceived thoughts laid out about what I should say about it. I had a mentor, and when I was in college, VMI, military school, military college, West Point of the South, I had to take Psychology 101, or I didn't have to, it was an elective. I think maybe the first elective I ever had, and the professor was interesting. He wasn't like any other professor I had before or since. And he didn't use the book. We had a book, but he never talked about the book. He'd tell you, read this chapter, read the next chapter, whatever. And then the class following the read assignment, he didn't talk about that. He talked about other stuff and posed a lot of questions. Anyway, and I'm not sure how it really happened. I think it had to do with the paper, he said. I think I've explained this before. He wanted us to term paper, final grade, for write down where your ethics and morals came from. And I struggled with it mightily, and in the end I had a big box full of papers, but no, completed 500-word essay or whatever. And I wound up delivering it to him, saying I really tried, but I just can't. I'm all lost. So he said, you get an A. You really tried, as opposed to most people who would say, yeah, well, it all came from being a Catholic altar boy, or it came from my parents, one line. Anyway, after that, I would go to see him. He had an office. It was not an engineering building. It was in the liberal arts building. He was the head of the Department of Psychology and Religion. And I don't know how many classes he taught. Industrial psychology and abnormal psychology, I think. I only ever took... I might have taken industrial, but I can't remember now. I do remember one of the classes that there was a cadet that sat right up in front of his desk, and Dr. Foster, Dr. Dean Foster, the mentor, was talking and whatever, and writing on the board. And anyway, cadet up front stuck his hand up, and he said, is there anything that you're putting here ever going to be on a test? And he said, I don't know. The cadet said, well, you keep asking questions, and Dr. Foster said, I don't know the answers. The reason I'm asking you the question. Help. You're supposed to help me. You're supposed to help me provide thoughts. Just have a discussion. And that was not what students are used to doing. Students are told 2 and 2 equal 4, and then you're supposed to think up another way that you can get 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 added, 3 plus 1, 5 minus 1. You're supposed to think of stuff like that. You're supposed to think. And that's what Dr. Foster, he was always thinking. And over the years, I visited him in his office, and I would talk to him about this and that. I've also recited it once, somewhere at some time. That I had, this epiphany thing. I don't know what happened. Something that occurred to me. I was really excited about it. Went over went in, he took his time, he opened, I was sitting in his office talking to him about, he'd not say anything, just, I got up and left, walking down the hall, and I heard this voice call out. It was, when I turned around, he was standing at his door. He said, oh, by the way, the thoughts you just had? Socrates said that first. I thought it was original to me. Since I learned a good lesson right there. Anyway, after that, like, went to his house, had dinner with his family. I don't know, I got invited. I told my son that over the years, I don't know what to call them, mentors or not, but people that put up with me or gave me a chance, I don't really know what they saw in me. Like Dr. Foster, I don't know that I ever provided much for him. I did help out with his adaptable bed chair financially and mentally, since I am an engineer. But it was really good to have a wise old dude, who was not older than me, but wise old dude who was willing to listen to you and throw things out. Questions that he didn't know the answer to. And we would have discussions about it. And I doubt that I ever gave him any kind of short glimmer of something that he could chew on, although I think probably I did. Now and then I would give him some little other avenue that he hadn't thought about. And I think there was a two-way street. I really do. Anyway, as my son said, it would be handy to have a mentor. And it did occur to me, like, father-son, isn't that a mentor kind of relationship? I thought that's what I tried to do. Could always have done a better job of it, for sure. That, I admit that, confess that. Didn't know what I was doing, and that's true with all parents. You've never been confronted with this situation before, and you know how to handle it. One of the things that I did wrong for sure was, well, I could have him help me with something or other that I was doing, and it would slow me down. And was it worth it to try to teach him how to change oil in the car? I thought it was, and I think we did that. And we did some other things. But lots of projects I worked on, I didn't involve them, and I should have. Same way with my daughters. Anyway, mentor, someone that would listen to you and provide advice that was not emotionally dominated. Make you think. And that was a really good thing. I gotta say, over the years, he was also a friend. I mean, I don't know the definitions of friends or mentors, but he was definitely a friend. And he and his wife came to visit our family a couple times and came to the beach with us, and always enjoyed having him around. And he talked to other people, and for the longest time, my wife was intimidated by him. Now, he could be intimidating because he had that inquisitive mind, and he'd jump on you with questions. And one of the things he always asked people he met the first time was, well, what are your 3 most important skills that you have? Do you have any gifts? Are you gifted with this or that? And again, it made people think. They've never been asked that question. What are the three most important skills? Well, I used to respond to them that one of the skills I had is I can untangle a great big ball of wire or string. And it's like, you know, for some reason I can do it easily. I know some people can do Rubik's Cube. I never could do that. But if you give me a big old tangled up set of wire mass or string, I can untangle it. It's not difficult for me. And I don't get frustrated. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, he used to ask those sort of questions. And it could be intimidating for someone who never met someone like him. People over the years helped me and gave me chances and put up with me. And put up with me because sometimes I was given a task to do at some location. I didn't have any immediate guidance or management. There's no management present. And I would do my stuff. And I mean, sometimes I would work from 8 in the morning to 8 at night or something. And then other days I wouldn't even go in because it just wasn't working for me. And other times I'd disappear for a week. I took a week off, you know. And I didn't tell anybody, and when I came back, it's like, he didn't even bring it up. It was like, okay, you know. That was putting up with me, for sure, in retrospect, thinking about it. But he saw something there, and I was talking to my son about it. I think he saw my work ethic. It sure wasn't the brightest, sharpest knife in the drawer by any extent. But I would work hard to get it to work, whatever it was. And I was an engineer, so I was building software or hardware. And given, go work on this computer. I've never been on that computer before, never used that language before, never done this before. I do realize in retrospect that it was true for anybody at that point in time. No one had done that before. So somebody, was like, he didn't have a lot of options from one perspective. So maybe work ethic was the most important attribute that you could have for an employer at the time. Because they were going to send you to Fort Sill, Oklahoma or some such place, and they weren't going to be there to manage you. And you had to take care of the job yourself or whatever was required. And so maybe work ethic was the essence of what people saw in me. I don't know. I was serious. I always gave them a good day's work for a good day's pay. I did do that. But mentor, other than my son, and he'll probably question that and say, no, not really. No, I don't think I've been a mentor to anybody. I've tried to help people in various ways. Repair a lot of computers for people and other devices and things like that. But as for being someone that people came to me and talked and said, you got any advice? I mean, that kind of a unvocalized attribute to your talking is, you got any advice? Mentor. There are people that were friends over the years that periodically would fall into mentor status for me. I could listen to what they had to say about a subject and it would make me think. And maybe that's the attribute of a mentor. I mean, I know when you advanced education, say you're doing a PhD in something, you get assigned a advisor, I think they're called. It'd be nice if they were mentors. And I've thought about it. There was a physics professor that I started watching all these lectures on, and it would have been really great to have been a student of his. And I wonder if I had shown up at his office to talk about, the sky being yellow and the sun being blue, would he have entertained my rambles? I don't know. But it would have been fun to have him as a mentor, or at least somebody that you could have a discussion with, you know. As for advice on my love life, no, I don't, and I don't think I would do that. I mean, that's not, I don't think. I don't know, with a mentor, I guess you can do just about anything. You can ask them just about anything or help, but looking for advice. Maybe a mentor, someone you can trust to give you advice. Not necessarily what you want to hear, but some sort of honest, unopinionated thoughts about what you have advanced to them. And I guess mentor implies that there's a relationship in some period of time. I mean, people go to other people and ask for advice all the time, but they don't do it regularly with the same person, so I don't think that qualifies. But if you had a relationship, and it's in that friend category, I thought it was really interesting. I would often, when I would come home, I would talk about Dr. Foster. You know, we were doing something or other. He had bought a one of the first video for home. Well, it wasn't really for home use, but it was commercially available for like institutions, because it costs like 5, 6, 7, 10 grand. I don't know what it costs. A lot. Video recorder. And Dr. Foster was not particularly mechanically inclined, so he asked me, "Can you put it together and get it to work?" I said, "Sure," and I did. Anyway, I would come home and I would talk about it. He had me rig up this video camera, which I think I did the first time. I don't think I ever used it after that. I explained to him how to use it, and I figured the classmates, whoever, I don't think I ever saw him use it. I'm sure he did. I wasn't involved in that aspect. I just set it up. That's all I needed to do. Anyway, I would talk about it when I come home, and my mother, bless her soul, she didn't like it. She felt that Dr. Foster was too much of a father figure. In no way did Dr. Foster, being my mentor, diminish in any capacity my father at all. Nothing. They were two separate, entirely separate people. My father, he was a really good soul. Really good soul. He'd had a tough life, partly on his own, and partly, you know, I don't know. I don't want to get into that with him. But he was a good soul, and I did love him a lot. And but he was not, Dr. Foster was not a replacement for my father. But my mother, you know, she was like that. It was nothing ever suited her. I don't know. It's too bad. I feel bad for her in that respect. But mentor, I don't know how you find one. I don't know if it even ever occurred to you. It would be great to have one, and it would be great to have one, believe me. It was beneficial. That was really the brightest spot in my college education, was having Dr. Foster as a mentor. I happened to read in a yearbook, college yearbook, in the last year of school, you get your photograph and someone has to write a little piece about you. And I happened to read that recently. I hadn't looked at it in 30 years. And I remember a fellow wrote it. Anyway, he said I was a protege of Dr. Foster. And that's, protege is different than mentor. I don't think I was a protege. It was interesting, I think in my third year of school, I decided, because I'd been dealing with Dr. Foster, I decided psychology, being a psychiatrist is the way I wanted to go. I was an electrical engineer, but, you know, I got more interested in human mind and the dynamics of thoughts and emotions and all that kind of stuff. So I talked to him, and he said, well, you know, you'd have to switch over to biology, but you know, I can help you with this stuff. And uh, so he started his thing, and then he came and he said, this summer coming up, what if I got you a job at like a halfway house where you could interact with people with various emotional maladies, or whatever the term is? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. So sure enough, he got me an interview at this place, and went there and met the chief guy, and he said hello, and then he said, oh, I don't interview you. We just have some of the residents talk to you. Okay. First resident comes in, and she is a cutter. She has cut marks all up and down her arm. And I don't have a clue. Never seen a cutter, never known a cutter. I have no clue why someone would cut themselves, blah, 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 blah. Next guy was, if he ate food, he was going to die. And the next guy was, you know. So it was a really good eye-opener to say, no, I don't think so. I'm not prepared. I don't have the mental therewithal, whatever that word is, to do psychiatry. I just don't. So I canceled the whole thing, and I just went back to my bloodless electrical electron flow. That's easy for me to manage. You can, you know, no blood and no hysterics or cutters or anything like that. Dr. Foster did the right thing. Now, he kept talking to me and saying, you need to get into chemistry. And I understand where he's coming from. My preference at the time had shifted over into physics. Mainly a nuclear physics. I really like that. And I think that's where he was trying to draw. Look at chemistry. It's the same sort of thing, only as at a much higher level. But, you know, and you can play Tinker Toys. And I like Tinker Toys. And that's what I did with software. Make Tinker Toy models and hook them all together. And that's what I did with computer hardware. Made Tinker Toy modules and put them all together. And I didn't create Tinker Toys. I only used Tinker Toys to create new things or new functions out of them. Anyway, Dr. Foster was saying, chemistry. It turned out, I always thought he had a PhD in psychology. No. He had a PhD in chemistry. How he got to be head of the psychology department. It was a small school. He applied. He had a PhD in chemistry, but he wanted to be head of the department of psychology, and they said, sure. And he was in the right place. Absolutely in the right place for what he wanted to do. Anyway, I rambled on too long. This is about Mentor. And I propose to you that if there's someone in your life that you trust really well, who is open-minded, makes you think, shares in your thoughts, can listen to you, maybe they're a mentor. And propose to you that there are people wandering around who need someone like a mentor, and maybe it's you. I don't know the obligations. I've never seen a book that says what are the rules, what are the regulations. I saw a movie one time where a psychiatrist got too involved with her patients' lives, and she couldn't let go of it. So, like, she got to stalking them and watching them, where they went, what they did. And if they said they were having trouble with this and that, she started pulling some strings, you know. Now, well, mentor shouldn't be doing that, I don't think. Anyway, mentor. I had one. I'm really happy and lucky that I did. Brightest spot in my college education. Lasting friend. He's gone now. I sure do miss him. And all the fun stuff he could get into and did. And, but my son bringing up mentor, the idea is maybe I've been deficient, that I should pay it forward. Isn't that a concept that we use these days? Pay it forward. Be a mentor to someone else. I think I try with everybody, like fix the grandson's Xbox or something. And I talk about it and I explain it to him and what has to be done and doing this. And if he was really interested in that and asked questions, I would proceed to invest more and provide more and help more and so on. It is a two-way street. I'm not going to force myself into anybody, and I suggest you don't do that either. It's their life. You don't have any right to push them in a direction, or the same way analysts or psychiatrists really don't have that right to be, shoving you in one direction or the other. Anyway, Uncle Ron and stuff, this is Mentor, and that's it for the day. Today is the 18th of October 2023. I finished rework of the Eureka Mighty Mite vacuum today. So I have got something's done. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm jumping around today. Anyway, I hope somebody makes some sense out of this ramble. Mentor, Dr. Dean Foster, Virginia Military Institute, 1964 to 1969 for me. Really, I can't do it. Here.